A lot of fans out in the parking lot with their autograph books hoping to get an autograph from the future Hall of Famer. Dennis Krause is with me here, too. I talked about covering Robin for 20 years. Dennis is a couple of years younger than me, and Dennis, but you're from this area. What are your first memories of Robin Yount?
Well, first memories go back to when I was in 6th grade, actually, 1974, not to make you feel old, but I thought you put it very well in that story in talking about the kind of person that Robin is. I think that's really more meaningful than the kind of player. He remained unaffected through all the years and almost oblivious to all the attention on him from outside people. And I think one of the interesting things about this news conference will be not only what he'll do with the Brewers in the future, but also will he maybe try something else professionally, maybe auto racing or maybe golf. You know, he's such a competitive guy. And also, I'm interested to hear when he made the decision. There's been so much speculation. Toward the end of last season, he told you, Hank, in a live interview that he was kind of leaning toward coming back. Something happened during the offseason, maybe talking it over with his family or whatever, that made him change his mind and say, I don't want to go through that again for a 21st season. So those are some of the things that I'll be listening for in this news conference.
Yeah, I don't think there was any doubt that when the season ended last year, he definitely was leaning towards returning for another year. I think most of his teammates felt that way, too. But as you said, a little more time to think over the winter, whatever changed his mind. He'll probably, I would think, tell us this morning. But you saw some of the tape of Robin, and I think one of the things that you always remember about Robin Yount is that he approached the game of baseball as if it was a privilege, and he played it as if he had an obligation, and that certainly is not true of everybody in the world of sports these days. Mike and Nancy, I know that people back there at the station have been following this story with great interest as well. It created quite a furor in the newsroom last night.
Yeah, things got real busy. Hank, you talked about some of your memories of Robin Yount on the field, and I guess we probably have lots of memories of him off the field. I recall, in fact, just a few months ago at the Women for Mac fashion show, the children's fashion show, Robin was there with his 4 young children, and of course everybody was coming up trying to get autographs, and you'd think big-time athlete, $3 million plus a year, he would maybe shy away from that after all these years. Stopped, took pictures, signed autographs. He was just great.
Has stayed very involved as a family man. You know, the one thing that strikes me with all the changes that are taking place in professional sports is that Robin is part of a dying breed. He's played for 20 years with the same ball club, and I don't think we're likely to see that again. Do you think so, Hank?
Oh, I doubt it. You had Molitor for so many years, and of course the 3 of them, adding Jimmy Gantner, they hold the record for longest number of seasons, 3 teammates with 1 team. I think they also have more hits than any other 3 players playing for the same team. And so now we've lost all 3 of them. We had Molitor, of course, from the '82 team. Molitor departing for Toronto before last season. Jimmy Gantner, his career slowed, of course, by an injury. He still talks occasionally about coming back. We'll have to wait and see about that. But now, with Robin Yount gone, all the ties to the '82 team have departed as far as playing personnel is concerned. If you join us a little late, we're in the Brewers clubhouse. We're waiting for Robin Yount to make an appearance and confirm what we knew last night, that he is indeed going to retire after 20 years as a major league player, all of them with the Milwaukee Brewers. And as we said earlier, I guess the main thing we have right now that's of most interest is what's he going to do from here on? Dennis mentioned an interesting thing. You mentioned auto racing. He has a passion for auto racing. I can remember being down in spring training a couple of years when they had that Grand Prix race in Phoenix, and he wasn't able to go. He played a game, and he never considered not playing in a game, which tells you something about him himself. A lot of people with his veteran years would have said, hey, can I have a day off? I want to go see the Grand Prix. But he didn't. But I went one year. When I came back, he was all excited and asked me what I thought and about Elaine Prost and all that. And, hey, 38, you're just in the prime as an auto racer, right?
He is such a competitor. That's the thing. And I think if there is any sadness about this day, I mean, this isn't a funeral. I mean, he's just retiring, so we don't want to be melodramatic. But the sadness that I feel for him is because he is a guy so focused on winning that he never got the World Series ring. He fell short, of course, Game 7 in 1982 against St. Louis. You'd really like to see him get the ring. And I talked to Paul Molitor last night at his home in Toronto. And he said, too, that, you know, Robin should go out with no regrets, but he knows, too, that somewhere in the back of Robin's mind, that is a little bit of a void that he didn't get the World Series championship ring.
Well, we're still waiting, Mike and Nancy, for Robin Yount to make an appearance at this news conference. And while we're waiting, we're going to throw it back to you.
All right, Hank, you mentioned just a short time ago that Robin was one of those 3 players who were with the Brewers from the 70s, the 80s, and even into the 90s.
Yeah, the others, of course, being Paul Molitor and Jimmy Gantner. And Molitor, of course, played in the World Series for the champion Toronto Blue Jays last year.
And when he did that, he didn't wear number 4 as he did when he was a Milwaukee Brewer. He wore number 19 as a tribute to his longtime friend, Robin Yount. Our Dennis Krause talked with Molitor by phone last night.
You know, you think about Robin retiring, and I think about, you know, the opportunity I had to play with him all those years and what he did for me professionally, both on and off the field, and what he taught me. It's kind of a sad day, really, to think that I'll no longer, as well as many others, won't have the chance to see number 19 play anymore.
So Paul Molitor reminiscing about his many, many memories of the all-time great Robin Yount.
Yeah, and he's the one of the 3 still left swinging the bat. We'll be back with our coverage of Robin Yount's retirement announcement.
Stay with us.
I was just horrified when my daughter had cavities at her last dental visit. I said,
Picture from Milwaukee County Stadium where a full house of reporters gathered to hear Robin Yount say he is saying goodbye to being a baseball player.
And at this moment, they are showing highlights of Robin's career on the television screen, waiting for Robin to come out. And as soon as Robin and the other Brewer officials do come out, we will immediately go back to County Stadium. You know, it's hard to imagine, but Robin was just an 18-year-old kid, and it almost sounds irreverent to speak of him that way, but a kid when he joined the Brewers back in 1974.
So that means it's been 20 years, and during those 20 years, he has given Brewers fans countless memories, not only in County Stadium. While we show you some highlights, Dennis Krause has some for us here.
Robin Yount burst upon the Brewers scene in spring training at the age of 18 back in 1974. After playing only 64 games in the minor leagues, Yount became Milwaukee's starting shortstop.
We got a real good club, I think. I think we can do it, but I know I haven't experienced this stuff yet.
After helping the Brewers to the second-half American League East Division title in the strike season of 1981, Yount blossomed into a star in 1982. He was named the American League's most valuable player as he led the Brewers to the pennant and their only World Series appearance to date. He posted a .331 batting average with 210 hits, 29 home runs, and 114 runs batted in. A special moment came at the Brewers rally after the World Series when Robin spun his way into County Stadium on one of his beloved motorcycles. Shoulder problems in the mid-1980s forced Yount to move to the outfield. And in 1987, Robin played a memorable role in preserving the first no-hitter in Brewers history, part of their 13-game winning streak at the start of the season.
Robin chasing, long run, he's got it with a diving catch, and Nieves has made history here in Baltimore.
Yount won his second MVP award in 1989. He hit .318 with 103 runs batted in. But Yount failed to hit higher than .264 in his last 4 years, managing just a .258 average in 127 games in 1993, his last season. The 90s were not as kind to Yount, with one spectacular exception. September 9, 1992 at County Stadium, hit number 3,000.
Back in against Mesa, who is working from the windup. The 0-1 pitch. Swings, and here it is! A base hit into right center. He's done it. 3,000 for Robin.
For 20 seasons, Robin Yount in many ways personified Milwaukee and the Brewers. Low-key, hard-working, no nonsense with a deep competitive fire. It will take us all a while to get used to not seeing him out in the field. Dennis Krause stays TMJ4 Sports.
Almost graceful. You take a look at him out there making those diving catches, hard to believe.
Yeah, it really has been great. You know, there were some people who talked about him saying he was coming back this year, even though last year he talked about maybe retiring. I know some people who made sure they were at the last game at County Stadium.
Just in case.
Just in case, and they still saved their ticket stubs.
And Henry, think back to that game where he got the 3,000th hit. There are still a lot of folks who saved those tickets and the special certificates they got, and some of them were lucky enough to have them autographed. And those tickets that were autographed these days are selling for like $125.
Well, you know, one thing about Robin is he's never really got into that sports memorabilia stuff. He hasn't been selling a lot of items like a lot of people have, a lot of players have. But we're anticipating he's going to make an arrival at any time. They showed a highlights tape of his career here in the Brewers clubhouse, and Tom Skybosh, public relations director for the Brewers, made an announcement, said after the tape was over, we would have Bud Selig come in, Sal Bando come in, Robin Yount come in. Selig rather will make a statement. Sal Bando will make a statement. Robin will make a statement basically saying, hey, I'm going to retire, and then there will be a question and answer period with Robin answering the questions from the media. And I'm going to get out of the way now because here, I think, is the arrival of the participants in the Robin Yount news conference.
And I would guess, Henry, that Robin is not only going to be sorrowful about having to make this decision, but he's always kind of shunned the spotlight and probably not terribly comfortable being the focus of all of this media attention today.
I would suspect that's right, and but he's got his wife along for support. Michelle is up there along with him. Here we go.
Well, just get ready to start. Obviously, the reason we're here, Robin Yount announced his retirement officially last night at 6:30. We'll start off with Mr. Seelig. And at this time, I will be happy to turn the mic over to you.
Well, thank you, Tom. This must be a big story. Some of you are here today who we don't see from, my goodness gracious, Bud Lee's return from Green Bay, which is shocking into itself. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a historic day in many ways for this franchise and for this city and for this state and for baseball. I know my friend Robin doesn't like a lot of speeches and a lot said about him, but he's going to have to suffer a little bit this morning because I've been traveling a lot the last 2 days and doing a lot of thinking about a really remarkable story. In this day and age, for a player to play 2 decades with one team is the way it used to be. Many of you remember in 1989, in December, when we signed Robin and I came back from Phoenix, and I said what I thought was so important, that someday a whole generation of people who had grown up watching Robin Yount play could be very proud and remember, and when he went to the Hall of Fame, which he certainly will go, that he will go as Robin Yount of the Brewers. And that's the way it's going to be. I tried to think last night coming home on an airplane, and I started thinking about a whole bunch of wonderful moments. One I told Robin about this morning that he didn't even remember, but in 1978, when Robin came back after a little interlude.
Was that 78?
That was 78, yeah. He hit a home run the second game of a doubleheader off of Tom Murphy, then of the Blue Jays. And I remember walking down the clubhouse, and I just looked at him, and I winked at him, and he winked at me, and that was the end of the conversation. And of course, the team went on to have an extraordinary year. And there's so many other great moments. That last day in Baltimore in 1982, when he hit 2 home runs and turned what could have been a horrible disaster into a great postseason. Great catch in 1987. There's just, it saved the Juan Nieves no-hitter. And I guess we could spend a lot of time today, but I won't, on the great accomplishments on the field, because they're there for everyone to see. You've all seen them. Our fans have seen them. But it is rare, and I think all of you know, but I don't think that many people understand how rare it is to have a young man come to a franchise, play 2 decades, never cause anybody one iota of a problem, play the game every single day, every single inning the way it was supposed to be played. And so the legacy on the field becomes less important than the legacy off the field. Because while we've had a lot of wonderful players, great players play here, and we've really been blessed in having great players, 2 or 3 of which are already in the Hall of Fame, there is no player in the first 25 years of this franchise who typifies this city, this state, or this franchise like Robin Yount did. And that's the real legacy of all of this. It's a legacy of dedication, conscientiousness, and loyalty. And so, while some will say that this is a sad day, I choose to think it's a day he has earned, and Michelle and his family have truly earned. He leaves the way a Hall of Famer should leave. And he leaves all of us a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sense of accomplishment. And he leaves all of our players a legacy that if they're smart and they really understand, that's what they'll be. And he leaves for that generation of millions of Brewer fans wonderful memories both on and off the field. Thank you.
Thank you, Bud. There's no need for me to talk about Robin's accomplishments on the field, in the clubhouse, and as a person. I think Bud has addressed those. It's kind of ironic that we hold this press conference in front of his locker, and yet I can remember back in I guess it was 78, I lockered right next to Robin, so I've got some fond memories of our days then. But I can say this, that for Robin and Michelle, baseball has been a major part of their life, and an important part, but it has not been his whole life. And so as we sit here this morning, I guess I'm excited because now is an opportunity for Robin and Michelle to do other things in their life. And because of baseball, they're able to do it, but they're also the type of people where it hasn't been their whole life, and I think that's exciting. And having said that, we will miss Robin, but we know he'll be with us because he's always a Brewer. And having said that, Robin, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Sal. Thanks, Mr. Selig. That's very nice things you could say there. I can say I've never really looked forward to this day, but it's here. I'm obviously, it's no secret anymore. I'm here to announce my retirement from Major League Baseball. The Brewers have offered me a position in the organization. That position is still yet to be determined, but it won't be this year. I think I'm going to explore a few avenues outside of baseball for a year and think about the future. But there's not going to be any emotional speeches or tears or anything like that. I'm going to wait till I get home to do that, I think. So I'm just here to answer any questions you may have, and you can go ahead with those if anybody has any.
Okay, 1 second. Before we ask a question, we've got 2 mics here, and because of the numbers of people and the fact that we're being televised live, I would appreciate it if you have a question to use a microphone. There's one on each side.
Robin, could you talk about the Brewers' off-season moves and how that may have impacted on your decision to retire?
That didn't have any any bearing on my decision. If there was anything along those lines that did, it may have been. I certainly thought about the position I was put in as far as maybe not having an everyday spot in center field. I've never been real comfortable moving around different positions here and there. Other than that, the position of the ball club and the way things were going really didn't have anything to do with the decision.
Robin, why is this the best time to call it quits?
There's a lot of reasons, but I think if it was one simple reason, it it's just not that easy, you know. I've got family that's, I think the last couple of years my family has been back here 2.5 months of the 6-month season. Half of that time we spend on the road. That's a long time away from your family. My kids are at an age where they need, I think, a dad around a little more often than that. I think the game is changing. You know, we've gone to new divisions now. It's going to be a whole different approach, I think, to, you know, playoffs and all of that. There's a bunch of new things coming in. Maybe it's time for the new guys, the young guys, to go out there, and maybe some of the older guys to step aside for the new wave of baseball, I guess. But there was a lot more things involved that, you know, I just feel like 20 years and somewhat of a decline in the way I've played. Also had things, you know, a bearing on it. So there was a lot of things involved to the decision. It wasn't just, you know, something that was easy to do.
Robin, when did you know in your heart that it was time, that this was the time, and how hard a process was it for you to come to this conclusion?
Well, Tom, I've been thinking about it for a number of years now, but just never could do it. I wasn't quite sure. Well, you know, I think an athlete knows when he's done. You know, there's a fine line between being successful and not being successful, and so much of that is a mental game. You know, I know the last few years when I got between the lines and played the game, I cared just as much as I ever had. But I think your priorities change as you get older, and I think my off-season preparation suffered a little bit the last few years. What it really took for me to be the best player I could, I think as far as off-season training wasn't there, and I don't think that's fair to myself. I don't think it's fair to the Brewers, and it's not fair to the fans that if you're gonna play this game, you don't give it your totally best effort. And I may not have been doing that the last few years as far as my off-season preparation, and I think that's another part of the equation.
Robin, are you considering any other athletic endeavors such as golfing or auto racing or anything of that nature?
Well, you know, I have this competitive bug in me somewhere, and I don't think...
Don't we all know that?
I don't think I'll be happy without some sort of competition in my life. Yes, I think most of you know I have a great love for golf and auto racing, and they're two sports that you can do later on in your life. And although I might be semi-old man as far as baseball goes, I still consider myself a young man, and these are two of the things I love the most in the golf and auto sports that, who knows, I may have enough time to if I practice real hard. I got a long way to go in both of them, but if I practice real hard, who knows where I could end up. Well, I don't know. I don't want to make any predictions, but it's certainly two things that I will probably pursue fairly aggressively.
What do you miss most about the game on the field, off the field, as far as not playing anymore?
On the field, certainly the competition of it all. That's what drove me the most. I really love competition. You know, you'll never be able to replace all the clubhouse annex, all the fun you have with the guys off the field, you know, in the hotels, in the clubhouse. I don't know that will ever be replaced. I think that will probably be missed more than anything. I've said before, the actual game of baseball, I don't think I'll miss. I'll miss the competition of it all. I love the game of baseball, but I think it was the competition that drove me.
Robin, obviously you discussed the decision with Michelle, your brother. Were there any other people that you consulted with in this decision? And then also, Michelle, for you, what's it going to feel like to have this guy underfoot all summer now?
Well, I consulted a lot of people, more than just my family. What you may not know, I had a chance earlier before Christmas to play golf with Michael Jordan, and he told me how great it was, this retirement and playing golf all of a sudden. Well, that didn't last long. So maybe, I don't know, in a week or two I might go to the Bucks and see if I can get a tryout this summer.
Good answer. You know, he's not the type of person that gets under your foot, so I haven't really thought of it a whole lot. Just, you know, when it comes, then we'll just do what we're going to do for the summer or whatever, make those plans then.
I have a question for Mr. Seelig. Robin Yount's retirement comes at a time when the Brewers are making some plans, trying to pull together a new stadium. Talk a little bit about the impact that his leaving is going to have on your operation as a franchise.
Well, obviously he's been a very, very critical part of our franchise. But I want to say again, what I've always wanted for him, for all our players, but in particular for him, is for him to do what's best for he and his family. Franchises will survive all of us. All of us. I guess I wouldn't, and this is not a facetious comment, the Cardinals survived Stan Musial's leaving, the Yankees survived Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle leaving, and we can go, the Red Sox survived Ted Williams, the Kansas City Royals will survive George Brett. I think that Robin, we haven't worked out all the details, but I have every confidence that Robin will be a very, very important part of this organization for many, many years to come. And I think maybe even today that neither one of us understand how important.
This is live coverage of a news conference. Robin Yount just announcing his retirement from baseball, saying he doesn't think he'll miss the game as much as he'll miss the competition.
Interesting that he said it was something that he certainly did not look forward to, but it is a day that has finally arrived. And of course, his many, many memories will live on in the hearts of baseball fans and just people in southeastern Wisconsin forever, I would think.
Which is very true. A lot of people at the news conference said they didn't want to list his accomplishments. Let's us do that then so people can recall it. Robin had so many great moments over the years. It's impossible to list them all, but we have a few of them.
Yeah, here are some of the most impressive statistics. Robin had 3,142 career hits.
He played in 2,856 games for the Brewers.
And he was a two-time American League Most Valuable Player and one of only 3 players in baseball history to win that honor at 2 separate positions. Did it first when, of course, he was a shortstop for the Brewers and then later transferred into center field where he won it once again.
So Robin announces today that he is finished with baseball, but not with the Brewers. He did say he would have some sort of position with the club.
And he's going to take a year off and figure out what he is going to do. Hinted broadly that he'll spend at least some of that time in an auto race car. And in addition, no doubt spend a lot of that time on the golf course. Whether he ever gets into the professional ranks or not, I guess we'll have to wait and see about that.
One other thing that's not a doubt, I don't think we'll see number 19 on a Brewer player ever again.
My guess is that number will be retired probably sometime during this season. Bud Selig and the organization will no doubt have a big Robin Yount Day that will no doubt sell out just as the stadium sold out when they had the 3,000th hit night. And he'll be eligible for the Hall of Fame in, what, 4 more years, 1998?
The voting will be 4 more years. As the news conference winds down, we do have Dennis Krause and Hank Stoddard there, and they will bring you their comments at 11:30, and certainly will follow up with reports at 5 and 6.
And Robin will be joining us at 11:30 as well. So that just about wraps it up for our coverage of the Robin Yount news conference this morning. As we say, things have, well, there are so many memories that go back all the way to 1974. It truly is the end of memories on the field as we look at some of them here. But Hank put it so well when he said it really was that day-to-day effort that he ran out every out. Didn't matter if he was going to be thrown out at first or not, but he always ran all the way down to first base and really was the true sportsman, the true athlete that so many of us will remember forever.
So we salute him and wish him well, and thank you for joining us for this special report.
And we'll have complete updates coming up at 11:30, at 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock as well.